I want to talk some Oregon Ducks recruiting today because I want to know who is Oregon's biggest recruiting win of the 2024 cycle. So, of course, I'm bringing in my man, Justin Hopkins of Scoop Duck. Justin, there's been some up and downs this cycle, but Oregon has racked up 22 commitments. They're almost full right now as we head into the fall. Who do you think has been the biggest recruiting win in the 2024 cycle?
Well, the Ducks have done what they kind of always do, and that's go national and recruit, multiple states in a class. And just, with the national brand, they're able to do that. But I think the one for me, and probably most Oregon fans would agree, whenever you're the Ducks and you can flip a commit from USC, that's pretty big. So cornerback Dakota Fields, committed to USC over Oregon earlier in the summer. Ducks kind of laid in the weeds there, didn't really make a lot of noise until all of a sudden, boom, he popped up on campus in late July, for Saturday Night Live. He didn't participate, but he was there that weekend. So, in order to get him there and kind of flip him from USC, which is, of course, your biggest rival out west, at least in recruiting at the moment, that's got to be a big win. Top 100 player. The Ducks needed cornerbacks in this class. He's one of the best out there. So right now today, I would say it's Dakota Fields, but of course the Ducks are still working on some other big names as well.
What recruits out there could push Oregon inside the top 10? Who are some of the most important recruits still on the board?
Yeah, I think if you're Dan Lanning and you're Oregon, at this point forward, you're kind of big game hunting, if you will. You're looking, if you're going to fill out those last 3, 4, 5 spots, whatever it might be, you're looking at 5 stars, high 4 stars, top 100 players. 5-star Brandon Baker's got to be at the top or near the top of the list if you're Dan Lanning. West Coast priority, offensive tackle. The Ducks needed offensive linemen in this class. He's got to be a guy. His teammate, 4-star defensive lineman Aiden Breland, again, at Mater Dei, a defensive lineman out west. You'd like to keep him. The one I would add to that, and it just kind of keeping it out there, Elijah Rushing, 5-star edge, committed to Arizona very early. A lot of people felt like Oregon was the team to beat there. I can't imagine Dan Lanning and Tosh Lupoy just said, "Oh, he's going to Arizona. We give up." So I think the Ducks have continued to work on there. That's all 3 of those are positions of need. At any program, specifically at Oregon, elite 5-star level players and on the West Coast. So right now, those are probably the big 3. 4-star linebacker Braden Platt set to commit early next week, and it looks like the Ducks are the team to beat there. So that might give them a little mojo kind of heading into the fall.
Yeah, Justin, those would be big pickups, and it could help Oregon fight for a top 10 spot. I want to know, though, what did Dan Lanning learn after year 1? Because Oregon, even though they're out there, way out there on the West Coast, they recruit like an SEC program. And, of course, Dan Lanning coming from Georgia, he knows how to recruit as an SEC program. What did Dan Lanning learn from year 1 to year 2 at Oregon?
I think they went back and really learned to prioritize building relationships with not just the recruits, but their families, with mom, dad, sister, brother, everybody that's in the circle. I think that's a really big thing for Oregon specifically. It's important for anyone, but for Oregon specifically, if mom and dad are looking at sending their young man, 2,000 miles, 3,000 miles across the country, I think they would want to, build that confidence and trust the coaching staff. So I think if you're Dan Lanning and you're Tosh Lupoy and now Will Stein, you really work on those relationships and making sure they're intact and making the family feel comfortable and confident that, your young man's going to be in great hands no matter how far away they are from home. So to me, I think that's the biggest thing. And of course, NIL, you've got to be competitive in NIL, as we know, to be able to land these 4 and 5 stars. They're not just showing up for free. So, I think those are the 2 biggest things that Oregon has really done well in this cycle.
Yeah, well, Oregon recruiting well once again, but over the next 3-4 months, that will determine how high they go in the rankings. Justin Hopkins from Scoop Duck, thank you for dropping by the Inside Scoop today.
Anytime.